The first day we'll go into the installation of the enclosure. The second day we'll go into the installation of the 4-inch foam roof, and we'll start the AlumaWood. The first step in building the garden room is laying the bottom track. This is probably the most important part of laying out the room, making sure the slab is square and the track is in properly. The first thing we do is drill holes on the bottom to secure the track to the slab. We also drill weep holes to the outside of the track, caulk the bottom of the track, as well as the inside of the track. The first thing we do is lay out the bottom track so we can drill the holes. The hole should be approximately 18 inches on center. What we're doing now is drilling 1/4-inch holes approximately 2 inches deep into the concrete for our lead anchors. After we drill the 1/4-inch holes, we clean the track as well as the slab to get all the dust off the slab for a good seal. There's 2 steps in the caulking process of the bottom track. Number 1, the caulking goes to the bottom of the track to bond the track to the slab. The second procedure, the caulking goes to the inside of the room along the beveled edge. The bottom track is anchored to the slab, and then the nail head is caulked. This will eliminate any water coming through the anchor inside the room. After the bottom track is secured, our next step is the wall channel. The wall channel is secured by drilling 4 or 5 holes through the channel and then lagging it to the wall. Again, the caulking goes behind the channel as well as inside the channel. After the wall channel is drilled, we then lay it up against the wall and plumb it. And our next step is to drill the stucco. The wall channel gets caulked before it gets applied to the stucco wall. The anchor we use on stucco is a nylon molly, and the lag is a 3-inch lag bolt. After the lags are secured in the stucco wall, we now attach the wall channel. Once the wall channel is secured to the wall, our next step is caulking the internal corners. This is a very important step. If the corners are left uncaulked, you'll have a leak internally, and it's a very hard situation to fix. Before the module is actually installed, we need to remove the windows and screens. That allows the panel to be leveled and worked with a little easier. One important thing on the module is you have an exterior and interior side. The exterior side has a drip release channel. This must go to the outside. Before we go any further with the enclosure, we have to make sure that our panel is plumb and level. Okay, once our first panel is leveled, we can continue on with the room. Okay, the electrical raceway is an optional item for the room. When electricity is sold in the room, this is utilized as the electrical chase and the plug installation. The raceway and then the door goes in. The threshold needs to be notched to take in the door jamb. once the threshold has been notched, it'll easily go in place. Our final step on the left wall is installing the top track. The top track will slip over the exposed modules. When attaching the hanger, the first thing you do is measure up 4 1/4 inches, make a mark on the wall, then run a level chalk line. This will be the top part of your hanger. The hanger is installed loosely to create a gap between the hanger and the stucco wall. This will allow the caulking to go behind the hanger and fill all the rough areas of the stucco wall. After the caulking is in place, you then lag the hanger tightly to the wall, creating the gasket. We attach the hanger loosely to the wall, then we apply the caulking between the hanger and the stucco wall. Once we tighten the hanger up to the stucco wall, it creates a gasket effect. The caulking that oozes out up on top of the hanger, we rub into the stucco wall, creating a good second seal. Okay, when installing the roof panel, there's 2 things to remember. One being the panel is laid on the enclosure and not scraped over the top track. If it's rubbed over the top track, it'll take off the baked on enamel finish. Secondly, the roof panel should be squarely into the hanger, and the first panel should be laid out where it's an even 12-inch overhang at the hanger and the front wall. To attach the roof panel to the wall section, we first need to drill a pilot hole and then attach a 4-inch lag through the roof and into the top track of the wall. Tighten the lag down until it is secure without drawing the panel down too much. The panels are locked together and screwed at the front top track. The bolts go through one on each end of the lock, probably 3 inches away from the center of the lock. This will secure the panel and keep the panels locked together. After the caulking has been applied to the hanger, we'll now screw the hanger to the panel approximately 18 inches on center. We must seal all the exposed screws and the outside edge of the C channel. There's two steps to caulking the 4-inch foam roof system on the seam. We first use a bead of caulking, go all the way down the lock, and then we cover it.
No, seriously.
Yeah, we're still gagging.
Okay. Guys, we need you to clear here.
Now we will install the hinge channel. The first thing that's done, it's marked and cut to fit the door jamb. After the hinge has been cut to fit the jamb, we now temporarily pop rivet onto the jamb. First we drill all the way through the hinges into the jamb. After the hinge is temporarily secured to the jamb, we now secure it with the big pop rivets. We drill a 3/16 hole through the pre-drilled holes in the hinge. After the holes are drilled, we now permanently pop rivet the hinge channel to the door jamb. After the hinge is pop riveted to the jamb, always make sure the hinge swings freely. After the hinge is secured to the door jamb, we now hang the door and attach it to the hinge channel. before the door is secured to the hinge channel, make sure that there's an even gap all the way around the door. After the door is secured in the hinge channel, we now pop rivet the hinge channel to the door at every hinge location. Before this is done, always double check and make sure the gap is even all the way around the door. After the hinge channel has been pop riveted to the outside of the door, we now pop rivet the inside of the hinge channel in the same location at every hinge point. Always make sure that the door jamb is pop riveted securely to the extrusion that it's attached into. This will allow the hinge to be strong without any warpage. After the doorknob assembly is installed on the door, we now secure the plunger plate to the door. After the doorknob is secured on the door, we now mark and lay out for the hole for the plunger. First thing we do is we close the door firmly against the jamb, make a mark, center on plunger, then take the pencil, lay inside the jamb up against the plunger and make a mark. That gets our outside dimension for the hole we're going to be drilling in the jamb. The bottom adjuster is the last piece that's installed on the door. This takes up the gap at the bottom. The bottom adjuster has an exterior lip. This prevents any water from blowing back up underneath between the door and the threshold. After the adjuster is in place, we now drop it so it sits just on top of the rubber of the threshold. Before it is pop riveted in place, make sure the door still opens easily but secured. This completes the installation of the door.